Hi, my name is Alice.
And my name is Danwin, and we are Safe Work New South Wales inspectors. This webinar can help everyone, especially businesses, to better understand your legal obligations when it comes to managing the risk of musculoskeletal disorders. Musculoskeletal disorders, often known as sprains and strains, are the most common work-related injuries and diseases in New South Wales. From here, we will refer to musculoskeletal disorders as MSDs.
In this webinar, we'll talk about the work health and safety laws in New South Wales and what they mean for businesses and workers. We will also talk to a small business owner working in the retail furniture industry about how they comply with their legal obligations to manage the risk of MSDs.
Work health and safety laws in New South Wales are made up of the Work Health and Safety Act 2011 and the Work Health and Safety Regulation 2017. The Work Health and Safety Act 2011 provides a framework to protect the health, safety and welfare of workers and others in all working environments. This act defines health as both physical and psychological health. Therefore, businesses have a duty to provide a working environment that is both mentally and physically healthy and safe. The Work Health and Safety Regulation 2017 sits under the Act and sets out how businesses must manage specific risks to health and safety. For example, businesses must eliminate or minimize risks that can make a manual task become hazardous. A hazardous manual task is one that involves repetitive or sustained force, high or sudden force, repetitive movement, sustained or awkward posture, and/or vibration. Supporting the work health and safety laws are codes of practice. These documents aim to make the laws easier to understand and give you practical guidance on what you must do. For example, there is a code of practice for hazardous manual tasks. There are also fact sheets and other guidance available on the Safe Work New South Wales website to support you to manage MSD risks.
So now that you have a brief understanding of the work health and safety laws in New South Wales, let's take a closer look at what these laws mean for you. As a business, you must comply with these laws to ensure the health and safety of your workers and others in the workplace, such as visitors and customers. If you fail to meet these work health and safety laws, Safe Work New South Wales may take compliance action against you. As a business, you are responsible for the health and safety of everyone in your workplace. This is known as your primary duty of care. In practice, this means you are responsible for providing and maintaining healthy and safe working environments and systems of work, such as having a policy on preventing MSDs, making sure workers are properly trained, such as using lifting equipment safely, and anything else that can be reasonably done to ensure workplace health and safety. Remember, involve your workers and others who are likely to be affected by health and safety issues.
In some cases, multiple businesses may share the duty of care. A good example of this is in a labour hire arrangement. In this shared working environment, the labour hire agency and the host employer must work together to keep workers healthy and safe, such as preventing the worker from getting an MSD. Others have legal duties too. Officers, such as senior leaders and directors, have a duty of care to make sure the business complies with work health and safety laws. This includes taking reasonable steps to make sure the business has and uses appropriate resources and processes to eliminate or minimize risks. For example, putting in place a regular cleaning procedure to prevent MSDs from slip, trip and fall hazards in the workplace.
A business must consult with their workers about health and safety matters. A simple conversation with your workers can help identify and possibly solve these issues. For example, you can ask them what tasks they find difficult to perform or physically demanding. Workers can provide valuable information, and they should be involved in discussions, such as identifying hazardous manual task risks by asking them about what tasks they find difficult to perform or physically demanding, helping develop safe work procedures and task-specific training for staff, and coming up with control measures to prevent MSDs.
The work health and safety laws require businesses to give suitable and adequate information, training, and instruction to workers to ensure their health and safety at work. Information, training, and instruction must be relevant to the work being carried out and must be readily understandable. For example, training should include information about manual task risk management, how to use lifting devices safely, and how to report a problem or maintenance issue. Remember, training on lifting techniques such as keeping your back straight and bending your knees while lifting is not an effective control to reduce MSDs in the workplace.
The most common causes of MSDs are hazardous manual tasks, followed by environmental factors such as slips, trips, and falls on the same level. First, let's look at what the work health and safety laws say about hazardous manual tasks. Businesses must manage risks that can make a task hazardous, such as high or sudden falls. You must manage them the same way you manage other risks in work health and safety by identifying tasks that could be hazardous, using the hierarchy of controls to make them safer, and then maintaining and reviewing those controls regularly. When you are figuring out which control measures to use, you must consider postures, movements, forces, and vibration, how long and how often a worker is doing the task, workplace environmental conditions such as extreme temperature or poor lighting, the design and layout of the work area, such as rearranging or storing frequently used items close to where they will be used, the systems of work used, including how work is managed, organised, and supported, and the nature, size, weight, or number of persons, animals, or things involved in carrying out the hazardous manual task.
The best way to prevent MSDs is to remove the hazards from the work completely. Businesses have a duty to do this when you are designing plant or structures. For example, when designing a warehouse, consider designing the storage to minimize bending and overreaching for workers. You must talk to your workers throughout the design stage so you get it right the first time. The same principles apply to you or anyone manufacturing, importing, or supplying machinery or other kinds of plant and structures to your workers. For further information, please refer to Clause 61 of the Work Health and Safety Regulation 2017.
Next, let's look at work environments. Businesses have a duty to ensure work environments are healthy and safe for workers to prevent injuries such as MSDs. For example, a business must provide enough lighting to ensure walkways are well lit, reducing the risk of slips, trips, and falls. In addition, wet flooring and obstacles such as loose rugs can cause slips and trips, resulting in muscle strains.
We also need to keep in mind that other factors, such as psychosocial hazards, can lead to MSDs. Psychosocial hazards are aspects of work and situations that may cause a stress response, which in turn can lead to psychological or physical harm. Common psychosocial hazards include high work demand, isolated or remote work, bullying and harassment, including sexual harassment. There is evidence of a link between these hazards and MSDs. For example, high work demands and time pressure can lead to increased stress levels, fatigue, and body discomfort. Over time, this could increase the risk of workers developing an MSD.
When it comes to workplace safety, it's a two-way commitment. Workers also have an important role to play and have legal duties. While at work, a worker must take reasonable care for their own health and safety and others, such as using lifting devices properly, and comply with reasonable instructions, policies, and procedures given by the business.
Now that we've covered these legal obligations, let's hear from a small business in the retail furniture industry about how they comply with their work health and safety duties to manage MSD risks.
大家好，我叫苏，这是我先生 Martin。我们经营了家具店已经10多年了，除了销售，我们还要安装，还有送货。 我们店铺里面的产品很丰富，有睡床啦，有沙发啦，有餐桌啦，还有茶几和电视柜。我们主要的目标是帮助我们的客人能够找到合适他们的好家具。虽然我们的团队不是很大，但是呢，我们特别注重我们的员工这个健康和安全的。
我们每天都会在店里检查有没有安全的问题，并与这个员工交流，听取他们的意见，看看是否有需要改进的地方。我们的员工不仅是我们的工人，也是我们的朋友和合作的伙伴，所以我们很乐意的聆听他们的见解。我们希望他们在我们的店里工作感到安全和放心。我们很乐意聆听他们给我们的改进一个方案和意见，并共同努力找到一个合适的解决一个方案。
在搬运家具的时候，如果呢搬运的姿势不正确，还有用不适合的工具，都可以引起腰肌劳损的。我们时常都要搬运大小不同的货物，例如有这个重量啦、形状啦，都是不一样的。所以呢，我们必须要找到合适他们的工具来这个帮助他们搬运，然后呢就让他们搬起来呢感觉到轻松又安全。我们有不同的工具让员工来选择使用，而且我们也有定期的经验培训他们怎么样重的东西怎么样去推拉搬我们呢这个以防止这个肌肉劳损的。还有当我们送货的时候，我们可以跟客人确认一下这个看看送货的时候会不会有一些我们不知道的隐患，譬如说呢就是他们这个要不要上楼还有就是他们这个有没有地方停车还有就是他住的地方是不是在山坡上面哪些我们都是要问清楚的。如果我们送货到这个房子有山坡的时候呢，我们可以确认这个他停车的地方会不会平顺容易进入，因为呢这个不确定这个平顺的话呢，对员工来说送货如果在这个车停在这个斜坡上面呢是很危险的，所以这个很重要的员工这个安全，所以我们特别的注重。
澳大利亚是一个多元文化的一个国家，我们的员工会说华语、广东话，还有越南语，还有这个英语，所以我们培训我们的员工的时候会用他们熟悉的语言来培训他们。新的员工加入我们的团队的时候都会参加这个安全的一个培训，这个内容呢包括了如何使用这个手推车，正确的搬运这个家具的技巧，以及应急这个处理这个措施。
大家好，我是丽丽，是店里的员工，我工作是卖家具服务顾客，有空打理清洁，这时发理店里有什么问题，我会告诉老板，我们一起来解决问题。比如电路线暴露外面，要把它固定好，避免顾客跌倒。
虽然我们是一家小企业，但是我们可以尽力遵守安全的法规和员工的安全，保障他们的安全。
作为老板，我们的员工在我们这里工作，我们有责任来教他在这里工作安安全全的工作，开开心心的回家， 就是我们的责任。
In this webinar, we've covered the work health and safety laws in New South Wales and what they mean for businesses and workers. In summary, here are your key takeaways. Businesses have several legal duties they need to do to prevent MSDs. It's important you are aware of these duties so you comply with the laws. Some of these duties include identifying, controlling, and reviewing MSD risks in consultation with workers. MSDs are caused by both physical and psychosocial factors, such as hazardous manual tasks, poor work environment, and high job demands. Your legal duties are designed to protect your workers from health and safety risks. It's not just about compliance. It's about keeping you and your workers safe from MSDs.
To learn more about managing the risk of musculoskeletal disorders, please watch webinar 3 in this series.
Visit the Safe Work New South Wales website or call 13 10 50 to learn more about how to prevent MSDs in your workplace and check out the range of resources we have available.
MSDs are preventable. Simple changes can make a difference.